For years, of course, restaurant workers have been at the forefront of the fight for a higher minimum wage. Now, we're learning about a company that allegedly takes money out of the paychecks of those employees and, without the employees knowing, puts it in the pockets of people lobbying to keep their wages lower. Joining us now to explain, investigative reporter for the New York Times, David Fahrenthold, who's been digging into all this. David, good morning. So help us understand that and tell us about ServSafe. What is that company? What does it do?
Well, if you're in the restaurant business, that's a name you know well. It's a program that offers lots of different food safety training programs. The one we wrote about is something that's called food handler training. It's very, very basic training, like you should bathe every day, don't drag the garbage across the cutting board. That's required in 5 states, and a lot of for waiters, for busboys, for bartenders, and they all take it. They pay $15 to a company called ServSafe. What they don't know is where the money that they give to ServSafe goes. ServSafe is actually a fundraising arm of the National Restaurant Association, a very, very powerful lobbying group, which takes the workers' money and then uses that money to lobby against the workers' interest, specifically to lobby to keep the minimum wage low and the wage for waiters even lower.
So, David, tell us a little bit more about this group here and what the reaction has been to your findings. I mean, this is pretty extraordinary stuff, and I can't imagine there's much happiness discovering that the money that should be theirs is being used to lobby against them.
I was stunned. I mean, given that this arrangement's been around for 10 years, I was stunned at how few people knew this. We talked to not just sort of rank and file, politically uninvolved waiters and busboys, folks like that, people who were involved in the labor movement, people who were actually working against the National Restaurant Association, had no idea that their money was going to fund the other side. I mean, the Restaurant Association's done a good job of keeping this under wraps, but I was stunned at how little people knew about this.
The president of the National Restaurant Association declined to be interviewed for David's story, but did release a statement that reads, quote, "The association's advocacy work keeps restaurants open. It keeps workers employed. It finds pathways for worker opportunity, and it keeps our communities healthy."
So, David, though, obviously the wages are extraordinarily low. The question is, what's next for the workers?
Well, because the Restaurant Association has been so good at stopping minimum wage increases on the federal level, the most recent time in 2021, the fight has now moved to states, and particularly this spring to 9 different states, including New York, where Democrats are in charge. So this is going to be a fight that you're going to see in all those state houses this spring.
And is the likelihood that they'll win some of those fights, and also that the wages will go up simply because there's a worker shortage?
Yes, there's a separate issue here with what workers will actually work for. And in some cases, yes, wages may be going up because of that. But the minimum wage, you'd be surprised at how strong this group is. So recently they lost fights in Michigan and D.C., but they also won a fight in California, which passed a bill that would have made the wage for restaurant workers go way up. Now, thanks to a petition drive funded in part by the Restaurant Association, that's going to go on the ballot for referendum in 24, and it's on hold.
Wow.
All right, investigative reporter from the New York Times, David Fahrenthold, thank you so much
for bringing us
that story.
That's
good to have you on.
It's an amazing story.
It is. Up next, new